our role in tackling global challenges. Hi everyone, my name is Terrence Irons. I want you to imagine this for a moment. It's 2050. Cities we know today, New York, Miami, even New Orleans, are battling rising sea levels. Families are being displaced, losing homes they lived in generations for. At the same time, millions of young people around the world are struggling to access the one thing that we could transform their future: education. Now, I know this might feel far away or even overwhelming, but the truth is, these problems, climate change, economic inequality, and lack of access to education, aren't abstract. They're already shaping our lives today, especially for communities like ours. So today, I want to break down these three issues, talk about how they affect us, and explore what we can do as college students to make a difference. Number one, body climate change. Let's start with the climate change. We hear about it all the time. The rising temperatures, the hurricanes, the droughts. But here's the thing, this isn't just about the environment, it's about the people, especially people in vulnerable communities. Think about Hurricane Katrina. When it hit, who suffered the most? It was low-income communities, many of them black living areas that were already underfunded and underserved. The disaster didn't just destroy homes, it exposed a lack of resources and support that many communities face. This isn't unique to the U.S. around the world communities. With the least resources are the ones hit hardest by floods, droughts, and rising sea levels. But here's good news. Young people are leading the fight for climate action. Activists like Greta Thunberg have shown us that age doesn't matter when it comes to making a difference. We can join this movement whether by advocating for renewable energy on our campus or simply starting conversations about environmental justice. Economic inequality. Now next, let's talk about economic inequality. This one hits close to home for a lot of us. Globally, the richest 1% own more than 40% of the world's wealth, while billions of people are struggling to get by. And here in the US, the inequality plays out in ways we can see every day for young professionals like us soon to be graduating. It's harder to build wealth for Black Americans. Systematic barriers mean that the racial wealth gap still exists on average Black families have significantly less wealth than white families, and that the gap hasn't closed in decades. What can we do about this? It starts with the small actions. Support businesses in your community, speak out with their wages, hiring practices. And when we have the chance, vote leaders who prioritize economic equality. Access to education. Finally, let's talk about education. If there's one thing we all know, it's how powerful education is. Open doors, builds confidence, and give us tools to change the world. But here's the reality. Not everyone has access to the same quality of education. Globally, more than 240 million children are out of school, with girls or marginalized groups being the most affected. Even here in the US, the schools in the Black neighborhoods often don't get the same funding or resources as schools in wealthier white majority areas, and this inequality creates a cycle. It's harder to succeed when you're not given the same opportunities. The solution: advocate for fair funding in schools, support mentorship programs, volunteer time if you can. Every little bit helps to close this gap. The conclusion: so we talked about climate change, economic equality, and access to education. These are the big problems that's no one denying that, but they're not impossible to solve as college students. We are in a unique position where we have the energy, ideas, and the platforms to make a difference. Maybe that means organizing a stability sustained project on campus, supporting local businesses, or mentoring young students. Whatever it is, the point is to start somewhere. I'll leave you with this. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which we can change the world. Let's use the opportunities we have to fight for those who don't. Let's step up, not just for our communities, but for our generations." Thank you.